greatest of all time. The movie is out. There are a lot of reactions to it. People don't like it, people love it. There are a lot of people in the middle, a lot of debate going on. Very polarizing film. My thoughts I have shared on my main channel. Check it out, my review of the film, and it's interesting. Check out the whole video. Don't look at the thumbnail or just look at just the title. There's I have something interesting I want to talk about in that video. You can check it out. But we have BR who has done a Q&A, and even I submitted a question. So I don't know if they took my question or not. Maybe it was not good enough. Maybe it was good. They took it. So we'll find out. But he's answering a lot of questions about the film, and I think he liked some portions, but he's not a fan of the film. And I think that's where I also lie. I'm not a fan of the film. I'm a fan of the things the film was trying to do. So they're two separate things. But let's hear it out. Let's see what are the questions and how he answers it. And if you haven't seen the original video, I'll put the link in the description. You can check it out there on Galata Plus channel. This is not a substitute for that. I'll be pausing, talking in the middle. And if you want to watch such reactions early, you can consider becoming a member. Click on the join button to know more. It's a way to support the channel. And if you do that, I'll be really grateful. So without any delay, let's check it out.
Hello and welcome to Galata Plus. In this episode of Q&A, we're going to be talking about GOAT, or The Greatest of All Time, directed by Venkat Prabhu and starring Vijay. The first question comes from Shiva Surya, who asks, in the Bigil review, you mentioned that Vijay's best co-star may be Vijay himself, highlighting the chemistry between the characters. What were your thoughts on his double role in this movie? Personally, Mohan as a villain did not work for me, but it was interesting to see Vijay going up against a younger version of himself. Yeah, I still think that when...
Interesting. I've not seen Bijal, but I really liked him as a villain. I think there was no other way you could have got Vijay as a villain, right? This is the best opportunity to do that, and they did it, and he killed it, and like you would have never gotten that, and I'm happy we have that.
When you have a star like Vijay, the chemistry between this Vijay and the second Vijay is always going to be better than the chemistry with anybody else, simply because the other roles are not going to be written well enough usually.
That's true.
This Vijay would be built up so much that all the meat is concentrated around either one Vijay or both Vijays, right? That's what
I think the closest that came was in Master, where Vijay Sethupathi was strong enough to like it became a battle between them. It's not just a one man show. But again, his point is true that if it's a Vijay film, right, attention is on the Vijay. He has to be the best, and that's what fans want. So if you pitch anyone and make him bigger, that will just throw things off, and fans will not enjoy it. Because you have to write the villain also very well. But here, because both are same, you can actually make the villain take the upside, and because it's same only, so you enjoy both the hero and the villain both. And that's a uniqueness of Indian hero stardom, how it's looked at, how fans want what they want, and this kind of it's like a solution to this issue.
All the lines are, all the good scenes are, all the like for example that scene with the mosque, for instance, where both the Vijays are at the same person and they hear the call from the mosque, and therefore he realizes that he's nearby somewhere. All those scenes, or even the scene where one Vijay is talking to another in the interrogation, all these things, there's like, if you look at the heroine in this movie, for instance, she's barely there. So yeah, I think it's inevitable that when you have a big star, their best co-star is going to be themselves. And why, we'll get to the writing bit, because there are many people who ask about the writing also later. Venkat Raghavan asks, with directors particular on writing their own films, the prestigious story, screenplay, dialogues, direction era of the past to the current era of written and directed by Tag, wouldn't it be an endless cycle of these filmmakers choosing to stay within their own bubbles surrounded by yes men? So
interesting question. Again, I think sometimes I feel, I think I said it for Lokesh also, but he does, I was told he does have more writers working with him. But yeah, I do feel sometimes I think you should have, and it's not that people who have worked under you only, they are helping you write. Like you should get an outer side voice which you can collaborate with, you have a good vibe with them, and they can help you, like give you like a bouncing board that this is working, it's not working. Definitely I felt that most in Leo. you know uh like I felt that villain thing just ruined that film. In the second rewatch I actually enjoyed the film more, but the whole Sanjay Dutt part, it is so like in a sense, I don't know say it, but stupid. The whole villain angle is so stupid in the film. If that was more interesting, like the film would have been much much better. But otherwise, yeah, I think this is a thing mostly South there with writer director same, especially in Tamil and Telugu. But let's see what he has to say.
You can look at this two ways, right? One is for a regular movie and one is for a big star movie.
Okay.
For a regular movie, I agree somewhat, because even when a director wants all those credits, right? Story, screenplay, dialogue, direction, they're usually discussing with other people, their ADs maybe, or some other people, or there are co-writers or whatever it is. So it's become a little better today, because, for example, when MGR was making his movies, with Satya Movies, the credit for story sometimes used to be given to Satya Movies Kadai Ilaka. So that means that there was like a whole bunch of people employed by Satya Movies to just do brainstorming for
Like
the writing alone, and they would come up with the stuff. But the big star movie is a little different, because whether you're writing as a team or whether you're writing alone, you are bound by all these things that you have to do. You have to do fan service, you have to do winking at the audience, you have to reference older movies of this star, you have to reference maybe older songs of the star. Now this is not exactly new, because MGR did it. If you've seen the Shivaji Ganeshan movie called Vietnam Video, towards the end of that movie, when some tragedy
I have no idea about this film.
happens, there is a callback to a song from an entirely different film, which is this Veedu Vare Uravu, very famous song of Kannadasan, which is not even, but it fits the situation. So these kind of callbacks and all these things, they are not new, but now they've become the whole movie. That is what I think is,
That's true.
I would say, the problem. Maybe others are going to say it's the fun element of it, because see, the thing is, for me,
I think that's what even Marvel goes to, right? Like sometimes if the film just becomes callbacks and it's not about the story, then that's the issue.
callbacks are fun, provided they exist at a certain level, right? It's like, to a certain level. If there are too many callbacks, for example, one callback I really loved here was, I didn't know Trisha was there. So when that song happened,
I think that's one of the moments. Like my theater, they were like morning show, first day, Thursday, who will show up for Hindi. So they were like 10 of us in the theater. And when Trisha showed up, in my head, I was like, yeah, Trisha. But I was like sitting. That was my reaction.
when Matta happened and she just danced into the screen, I had this huge theater moment, right? Because I didn't expect this callback. And when they started doing those gilly steps, that callback was like,
Oh, it's a Gilly reference. For me, it's Trisha. So
really good. But the other callbacks, like, even though technically they use that I am waiting at a nice part for the junior Vijay, I'm like, dude, you're using that I am waiting for every single movie. Lokesh used it and Master.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to use variations. So after some point, that whole movie becomes, I need to use this line. How do I get a scene that uses this line? I need to use that line. How do I use it?
You're writing for moments. You're not, like, moments are not coming in your writing. That's the difference, Like, because if your writing is good and the moments automatically are coming up, that means you're not, you know, losing the main narrative focus. All these things. I think in this is, I actually wanted to tweet about this, that I feel Lokesh, among all the contemporaries, the Tamil, especially Tamil cinema directors, I've noticed this, even with Nelson, what I saw in Jailer and Beast. Let's not talk about that. Even Venkat Prabhu, like all these current directors, right, who are doing different things. I've noticed one thing, that Lokesh has the most, what do you say? Curtail? No, he doesn't. Not resist. Wait, what's that word? It's from R. Come on. He is the most restrained. That he can do so many things. From so many older films, and he can have so many references, and he can have so many moments. But he restrains himself, and focuses on what comes in the narrative. Only that much I'll use, and he tries to make even Leo. If I'm not a big fan of Leo, but he made it his own. It doesn't feel like a collage of all the different films we have seen in the past. I think that's the thing, that he, like, when he talked about, I saw his interview with talking about the Vikram movie, where he said he didn't show Kaidi. He didn't want to show him and Surya's character in the same frame. We'll get that. We'll build up to that. He doesn't want to waste it. But if you say any other one of these directors, they will show everything in the movie. Like the whole post-credit scene in this film, it made no sense. There was no point of it having there. It just made, I think for me, it made the story worse. Without it, I really actually enjoyed the story more. That whole cloning thing that just ruined that. Oh, it was not actually his son; it is a clone, and that was too much, And that restraint, maybe in the future film, show that it's maybe, but I still don't like that idea, anyways. But my point is that restraint of not doing everything, because you may not get the chance next time. So let's do everything in the film. I can do every reference, everything, within one film, because who knows the future. But I think Lokesh, because I think he's building a cinematic universe, he has a restraint that everything cannot happen in this film. Whatever I want to with the story requires, that much I'll give, and I'll remain other wait, for next film to show all the other things I can do. So I think that's what's missing. I felt it with Jailer also. I felt with this also. So that's something I've noticed, but I still need to explore more Tamil cinema, to solidify this observation.
How do I write a scene that gets to that line? And that is a problem with the screenplay writing in many of these films, because you're kind of trying to get to these lines and callbacks rather than writing an organic screenplay. So that becomes the problem, I felt. But all that said, I thought what Venkat Prabhu managed here and his team of writers managed here is to have a very clean screenplay. It's like the high is not there. It's not a great movie. It's not a bad movie. It's a very clean screenplay for me, where everything neatly tumbles into one another. So I think that way they've really succeeded. Where
It doesn't at no point feels like what is anything is going on. It's I think logical, not exact logic, but logical sense in the narrative. It makes sense. Okay, this happened, that happened. Okay, it makes sense. The cloning thing didn't make any sense.
Many other Vijay movies have failed. For example, in Varis, there are so many generic things happening, and the screenplay is so like, I don't know, just like it's not clean. Here it is clean. That's I think the most you can expect right now. Kumar says, "Sir, should a film always have a proper plot and all the grammars as cinema holds? With the announcement of penultimate movie, can't we just enjoy for the actor himself? Should every movie cater a proper story writing?" Kumar, you are probably the ideal watcher of this movie. You're saying, I don't want a story, I don't want anything, I just want, like, I'm a Vijay fan, I just want to see my Vijay on screen, and I'm getting two Vijays for the price of one. Or if you include the youngest Vijay, there's the three Vijays for the price of one. So why not enjoy the movie? Fine. I mean, see, the point is that each one of us comes with different expectations for a movie. When I say expectation, I don't mean the movie should be this way, but expectations of cinema itself. When we say masala cinema, it doesn't mean, I don't like that phrase, leave your brains at the door, because maybe that's the way you watch it, but that's not the way you write it, right? Because writing means you're still delivering an experience that holds the audience. And sometimes
it requires creativity, it requires thinking. It's not just do anything because no one's use their brain.
You feel that the big budget that they mentioned is not seen as much as it should be seen on a big screen. And those are the things that I think people are picking up on. Not necessarily that if you want to just do fan worship, I think that's fine. I don't think anybody really think, because that's what Venkat Prabhu has also been saying in the movies, which is like, this is a celebration of Vijay, this is a celebration of Vijay, and that the movie certainly is. So if that is enough for you, then I think that's good.
I just want to add to that, like, just imagine this is his penultimate film, and just imagine if he, like, finished making movies on a high, like it is one of the best of his films, you know like, imagine that high. Oh, it's the second last time I'm watching him, and it's one of his best films. Like, he's delivering his best at the end. That's how we are ending. Of course, you're enjoying those moments, this and that, but will you remember this film, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years later? I don't think so. Maybe the evil villain, that even evil Vijay portion, may stick around, but as a whole film, as a narrative, is it that amazing? Like, I have seen Master multiple times. I actually enjoy Master a lot. A lot of people say it was a mid movie, or they don't like it that much. For me, it was much better than Leo. It was even not Vikram, I think. Vikram, it's kind of a different film, I would say. But Master is a hero film, right? One of my favorite films, because the villain is so good. The hero is well established. There's actually a character arc for him. So everything just comes together as a good commercial hero film. You know? So I'm just imagine, like, you could be satisfied with this. That's totally fine. But just think, what if it was one of the best film? That should be the craving.
TSR asks, can we ever see our big stars in Kadalaka Maryade, Vali Asai kind of simple, light-hearted romantic movies of the 90s? Okay. No, because those are the movies that stars used to build their careers. You cannot have them after they become stars, right? Because if you look, there's a great classic example in see, there are only two exceptions to this rule. One is Shivaji Ganeshan and one is Kamal Hassan, because both of them became stars and also positioned themselves very carefully as actors, doing films that they knew may or may not work, because the actor stuff was there, like a Guna, for instance, or with Shivaji, many films you can name for Shivaji, where they made films because they wanted to showcase, do something different from their thing. So they became stars, and people would go to their movies and say, okay, what is the new thing I'm going to see in their movies, right? Whereas with these two exceptions in generally in Indian cinema, most of the others, if you look at MGR, if you look at Vijay, if you look at Ajit, they used other kinds of movies to build up their their
Stardom.
stardom. But once they became the star, once that image is identified with the public, with them, that's it. They don't take too many risks. They can have a narrow range. That's
That's
it. They
the
cannot go
thing.
too much and say, I'm going to play a Kadalika Maryade, where I'm it's just going to be the fighting is going to be emotional violence, which is about like drama and things like that. That cannot be the whole movie, because today's fans also, you must remember one thing: when those movies released, there was a larger family audience going to the movies because ticket prices were not so high, and
Yeah.
also, like, the serials, the OTT, all the stuff was not there. You could not see YouTube things. Now theaters have come to realize that the only consistent audience is that very young group of some 18 to 25 or 26 or something like that, some quadrant that they named. And these guys, they only want the fan experience. They don't want to sit through long scenes of drama, crying, this, that, all these things.
It's sad. I hope that's not true. Like someone comes up with some a movie like that. I think Dhanush, but he has actually positioned himself as more of an actor than a star. Like I have not seen a very over the top kind of Dhanush film actually. I know they exist, but even a Jagame Thandidam, right? That one Netflix, it came on Netflix. Even that, it's kind of his hero film, but it's very grounded in some sense. Like Ryan did really well, but again, I think like you not compare Ryan with even Goat, because Goat I think already done 250 crores something like that. Ryan did 100. That was great for it. The mid budget movie it was, but yeah, it is true. It is hard to do the like normal stuff again because the expectations are so high.
With Wali, that one thing, that villainous element maybe maybe taken out, and that's why you get a Maungata. So same thing like with Vijay, you're getting a villainous Vijay in this movie, where you're also having a like a good Vijay, bad Vijay, that kind of stuff. But otherwise, you cannot go back to the pace of those movies or to the drama of those movies, because
Hmm.
nobody wants to see heroes. They prefer cheating hero, like somebody who steals, somebody who does all these things, all that they can accept. Somebody even kills, but somebody who's lusting after somebody else's wife, that kind of stuff and all is like forbidden for a hero.
Hmm.
So they will never get into that zone again. So all we can do is
Interesting.
go back and watch those earlier films, I guess. Ravindra Kenchappa asks a similar question: have movies come to a place where cameos are given more emphasis in an era of reels trending to work only on Instagram, or will we see more focus on screenplays? See, again, that's what I'm expecting. See,
Isn't that Maharaja all about screenplay, right?
and I think Jailer is a very crucial movie in this regard, okay, because it completely broke all the rules of screenplay writing and said, I'm just going to have a series of big moments.
Hmm, that's true.
Usually when there is such a big thing like Rajani, the father killing the son and all at the end, if you look at the other, like Indian or something like that, that the son's thing would have been built right in parallel. That son's behavior would have been built right in parallel, so that you get that logic of the father wanting to, kill the son. But in Jailer, it just was completely random. In the second half, it happened like a twist. So people want that twist, that high moment. They're
Hmm.
saying, I don't want the lead
Revelation.
up to that. I don't want the follow up to that. Just give me that one single moment alone. Cut all the flab. Give me the meat. Just the meat I want. So when you have that, the traditional screenplay rules are not going to apply. The only rules that are going to apply are TikTok video rules, shorts video rules, reels video rules, because now most
That's
of the
true.
movie is already on YouTube.
That is so true. Like, one thing I noticed, I was watching someone and they said that nowadays, right? if you watch movies and shows, and in today's generation, most films will have action or whatever happening in the center. Why? Because later that can be cut into a short or a reel as a long form video. Not, sorry, not long form video, as a vertical video. And it's easy to share and make videos out of. Like, that's how that has influenced how you are even shooting a film. And that broke me. Like, I'm like, really? And that's why I notice sometimes, are am I noticing it, or is just someone just said it? And I noticed some films are actually doing it. Everything is happening in the middle of the screen, where you can easily cut it out as a shot, and people can share it, and that's kind of a marketing tactic. And I think, as a I don't know, I've made that video yet, but it's all about the hype, right? If you have these kind of moments, right, and you make videos of it and shots of it and share it on Insta story and everything, and people are like, oh, this happens, oh, people are shouting, it's so fun, I also go and watch the film. It's become a marketing trend. No one is actually today stopping people of taking videos, pictures, and on the theater, because it's not, at no point can become, oh, they just shared a picture and they're like, oh, I already saw it, I'm not going to go to theater to watch it. No, they now more want to go because they saw the hype and energy, and everyone is enjoying it. I also want to be a part of it. I also want to make a video and share it. you know I want to show that when I saw the movie, I enjoyed it with the theater, enjoying, erupting. That's what today's thing has become about, especially commercial films, big commercial films, where that's why these moments are inserted, so that's it goes viral on social media, and more people, it reaches to more people, and they come to just witness it.
YouTube. Any movie is already on YouTube because every time a high moment comes, people take their smartphones and record it and put it
Yeah.
out there. So when I'm saying I didn't expect like a Trisha cameo, I didn't expect a Sivakarthikeyan cameo, all these things, people now who are going for the second show or third show and who are on Twitter all the time, they already know all these things and they're going.
Yeah.
So the theater moment that was there for me, I don't know if they had it because they already knew all these things. But that is what film has become, the big star film. That is a series of high moments, which is probably why, I mean, there was a rumor that Rajnikant was asked to do Kadesi Vivasai, and I don't think he would have done it at all, simply because
Yeah.
yes, it would challenge him as an actor, but then he's too big. The money on that is riding on his shoulders is too big. But I've always wondered this, why can't actors do this thing where they do this big mass film and then they do one film for a very low budget, cutting their price, do one I don't know, for the lack of a better word, let's call it a class film, like you said, Kadal Ka Maryada, the earlier person said, whatever. Why can't they try that, so that, okay, only a small portion is going to go, but at least your recovery is safe, and it'll go to OTT and do well and all that. But I don't know why they don't do that.
I actually think about this, that can this happen? Like, why can't actors, because it's not gonna take them long. See, one I was thinking is that, because if you shoot a film, it's gonna take time. In that time, you can do a bigger film and make more money, right? But they also have a lot of money, they can take less money. It will take less time to actually shoot a small film, and you actually don't even market it. Like, don't market it on the face of the star. Don't make Rajnikant do a press show or whatever that happens to release a big film of his and all of that. So even there also save cost of marketing and everything. You don't need to do that. Still just make a market and treat it as a small film. Just because it has a big name, big star, don't add more money, and make it big and make a marketing big, and then use, actually spend so much money, and then you expect more money to recover, and that will just make become a flop, because you're not able to recover that money. So just let, can the actor, I think it's on the actor. You know what, I made a did big this big mass film. I have 1 month off. You know what, 10, 15, 20 days or a month, I'll give this short, small film, I'll work with them, you know and I'll be done. I get a bit paid, I help them out, and I'm gonna edit whatever, they just make the film and then they release. I don't really touch upon it at all. And then if it works, it all of that, you get all the accolades, right? Like, I think that's where that balance has to come in. You cannot do a Kadasi Vivasai, bring Rajnikant in it, and then suddenly start to market it as a, oh, next big Rajni film to watch. And like, if you put those expectations, those scale to that narrative, which it doesn't need, then it's gonna flip. It will not work.
Because I think every movie needs to be a big event.
Yeah,
PS
that's true.
asks, should directors completely stop thinking about fans before setting out to make a film? Most directors try and find a balance between creating their film and satisfying the fans, but often end up making films that are neither true to their vision nor completely
That's true.
satisfying to their fans. But I'm asking, how do you know this? Because how do you know that this is not the true vision? Because the bigger the money on a film, the more you have to cater to fans, right?
Yeah.
The bigger the money on a film, see, with the exception of Rajamouli movies, which are like when Bahubali comes out or whatever it is, he is able to maintain like even though it's a very big budget movie, he's able to stay true to the story. Another example would be similarly in that same historical slash mythological zone, like fiction, Ponniyin Selvan, because the story is based on something else, so they only have to deal with the fans of the story, not the stars. So
Yeah.
and all the stars are actor stars, so so even if they get angry with the makers, they'll be like, how dare you change Kalki's words or something like that. But they will not, the fans will not be disappointed with the actors themselves. Whereas when you come to these mega stars, the fan worship has to be built into that star, because like I said, that age group that is consuming these films is very small. But there's a very strange thing that, even though theaters say that, when a good movie releases, when I say good movie, I mean a movie that caters to older audiences, everybody chooses to watch it on OTT. But when a GOAT releases, everybody chooses to go and watch it on a theater and then complain about it. I'm like, why? You know that this is the genre of the movie. That, in fact,
He's quite puzzled, you can say. Like he's trying to figure it out.
they
Figure it
have to
out.
invent a new genre called fan service movie or something like that. That's what the movie is going to be, along with the regular plot. It's a thriller or whatever it is. So why go and be disappointed if this is not what you're expecting? I think that's something that we all have to think about, because I'm not saying therefore keep your expectations low, but I'm saying this is what the model is going to be. So complaining about these things, I don't think is of any use, because that is how it is going to be. Jeetan says, could the movie have been better if the team had avoided de-aging technology and focused more on other technical aspects like VFX and fight sequences? I think, for a change, usually even before I saw the movie, this is what I thought. I said, why de-aging? We are used to somebody wearing a white wig and, being
Yeah.
a older man, and somebody wearing being regular and being a younger person, just dressed in different clothes. So why do this de-aging? But in this particular thing, it
It
makes a big
works.
difference, because you really see Vijay as a younger person, and you're getting that father-son dynamic, which is also the dynamic of enemies, right? Like he's trying to get his revenge. So I think somehow I'm able to see why that de-aging is needed here, because Bigil, for instance, the older Vijay dies soon enough. So there are just a few scenes with both the Vijays together. But
Spoilers. Big spoilers.
here it's like the full on treatments. Both the Vijays travel almost fully throughout the movie, so I don't think they could have faked it, without the de-aging. But that said, I agree. Why not better VFX? Why not better? Why isn't this a better looking, better? Like, why
Yeah.
doesn't it look better on the big screen?
I think I don't think de-aging is a problem. I think de-aging is done really well for Indian film. We have seen in Hollywood also a lot nowadays, but de-aging I felt was almost flawless for me. I saw the Hindi version, by the way. So for me, it looked really good. I think the problem was the green screen shots, where all these normal things which we have been doing for so long, those sequences really didn't look good. And even the action felt very like the chase sequences were actually more entertaining and more thrilling, to watch than the action happening. It was just meh, nothing special.
The production values, why don't they
Yeah,
show?
that's
That's a question again for another day. Oh, and about the fight sequences, I completely agree. I don't know why we insist on making movies like this if our fight masters or stunt masters are going to give the same kinds of fights, which are
generic.
like the usual gunfights, the usual bike fights. There's no thrill, there's no excitement, because you're saying that I'm making a Mission Impossible kind of movie or a James Bond kind of movie, but the fights are so ordinary. I mean, yeah, we're used to it and they go by, but it's like there's nothing special, and there's no use of props in the fights. There's no, like, it's just very
Dull.
like very ordinary stuff. And yeah, that's the thing I've never been able to figure out in these movies. I spoke to a stunt master once, and they said that part of the problem is because they don't allot enough days for shooting
Yeah.
fight scenes, and they have to make do
Prep.
with 2 or 3 days. What somewhere what should actually take a week. There are other people who've said that it's also because actors don't like to rehearse for fight scenes, so they come in, they want to do minimal stuff and then leave. I don't know whether this is true or not, but end of the
Hmm.
day, I think very few Indian movies have good fight scenes, and I think, yeah, it's very sad. Kamlan Muniswamy asks, what are your thoughts on the
Watch Kill
passing
if you
of
haven't.
scenes
Playing on Hotstar right now. It's a Hindi film. Watch that, one of the best action film of the year, including Hollywood.
with SK, as if like passing of the baton? If so, will it work, or does it need to be more organic to create a superstar? See, nobody can become a superstar because they had one cameo in one movie where apparently Vijay is handing over the baton and says,
You know, I actually didn't understand that. I didn't think that's what's happening here. I'm like, oh, well, he showed up. Okay, cool. And maybe he's a fan or what, like. And then he go, and then when he stops him, when he stops Vijay leaving, it's like, I know you are going for some important work. Don't worry, I'll take care. Even then, it didn't hit me. Later, someone messaged me, and then I realized, oh, that's what it meant. I didn't get it in the movie.
and Sivakarthikeyan says, "Well, you go take care of your work. I'll take care of this." So
Yeah.
saying that you go to politics and I'll fill your space or whatever. I have a feeling there's a bit of a joke there also, because I love that cameo, by the way. This is that one cameo that really worked for me, was that. But you can't make a star like it. Depends on the movies. See, this
Yeah.
is not about whether you like Vijay or whether you like Ajit or whether you like Rajni or whether you like Kamal, whatever. All these people have put in years and years and years and years of work. And like if you look at Vijay, you're talking about from Ajit Vijay from the 90s. When you're talking about Rajni Kamal from the 70s, this is a long time that they've
Yep.
associated themselves with the audience. So that ownership that the audience has with these people, that has to be earned some more. It's like, and now another thing is, when all these people are making movies, whether it's Kamal or Rajni or Shivaji or MGR or Vijay or Ajit, they were making multiple movies a year. So maybe some would become a hit, some would become flops, whatever it is, but the movies kept on coming. And you ask people, the movie that you don't like, that other person will like, the movie that you like, that other person won't like. So there's always that circulation of things going on. And remember, when multiple movies come out, even if the entire movie doesn't work, at least there'll be 5 or 6 moments that become like passed into pop culture. For example, there may be a song, there may be like a joke, there may be like one of those lines that become immortal. Whatever it is, the point is that the more the movies, the more these things go and become part of pop culture. Now, with people reducing the number of movies that they're doing and working on very specific and very focused projects, it's going to take a long time to occupy the kind of space that
Yeah.
Ajit and Vijay, and before them all these other
Even here when he talks about, right, all the you're using Easter eggs and dialogues, and which became famous from older films in your movie, but that also you're not creating new ones for the later generation. That 10 years later, your film's dialogue will be used as reference, because you're so dependent on older ones. You're not creating your own moments. That will be remembered for time, for ages.
people occupied. Whether Sivakarthikeyan can do that, of course he's capable. He can do it, and he's been trying his word. And one of the things I like about Sivakarthikeyan a lot is that he chooses very interesting films within the mainstream space. I mean, almost all of them seem to be some conceptually different and
Yeah,
conceptually interesting films. Whether the
I
films
like his
finally work or
choices.
not is a different thing. But at least like hearing about it, you're like, okay, there's something's different, right? But to get to that space, he has to make more films. And that's when you kind of really do. And that's the thing today, that we don't, everybody works on one film at a time and finishes that film, and that takes almost a year. So you get maximum 1 or 2 films of an actor per year. Beyond that, nothing happens. So they're not passing on enough information into pop culture that will make them stand in people's minds for a longer time. Now, unless this changes, I don't see those kinds of mega stars being recreated again. Waden Wilsami says, I have the feeling VP originally had the clone to be part of the core plot, and they decided to skip it to make the plot simple. Did you feel the same? Haha, I had the same question, because
I think Rata answered this in an interview, that was the idea, and then Vijay said it's becoming too complicated, so make it simple.
suddenly it pops out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And there's a genre shift that is so like whoa, where did that come from, right? But I have a feeling maybe VP thought of it even before. Like that was the thing that he wanted to do. Tel Patri Singh asks, the effect of PR and social media promotion often reflects on box office performance. You promote more, you make more money. Nowadays, I feel it reflects on how a movie is critically received. I feel a great movie with the poor PR strategy is received as a bad movie. Thoughts? I don't know. I think there are still
Okay.
critically, some people who watch who are not swayed by all this PR noise, because PR noise happens for everything, right?
Yeah.
I think that still happens. I think there are still people out there. I'm not talking just about critics, but even regular people who are the general audience who kind of see the movie and accept it for what it is rather than what the PR thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessary that if you that the critical reception of a movie is going to reflect the PR or the hype around it. One thing is, people often ask me this strange question. It's like in case not, I'm not talking about goat, but in case there's a heavily hyped movie and I say, like something that it didn't work for me, they say, aren't you afraid of giving that review? And I'm thinking, it's just a movie. Why should like you be afraid? I mean, afraid is such a big term, right?
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking, and when I'm talking to them, I'm understanding that they are under pressure to conform to the public idea
Opinion.
of that movie being good or bad. And I think that's why this question comes sometimes. It's like, aren't you afraid or whatever it is? Because I think with big movies, I think the pressure to kind of live up to that hype sometimes reflects in the reception as well. Somebody asks,
Okay.
I saw your review. You mentioned the shot you put in this should not have been posted before release. But in my view, it played a crucial part in the audience's mind, and none of us would have thought the villain was Ele Talapati until the metro scene. Your opinion? I agree. I see. When I saw it, I that was such a big theater moment that I thought that wow, I wish I hadn't been exposed to it before, because not only in the trailer, it's also there in all the posters as well. So I was like,
Yeah.
I wish, because the minute he picks up the bike, you know that shot's going to come like 1 minute away, right? But I agree with you here. I didn't think of it from this viewpoint. This is a good point. So because we've seen that shot,
Yeah.
no,
We'll not think that he is the villain. But I like I expected him to. When did I call it? When he. Yeah, I think how easily he gets back. Like I thought something has to go wrong. Something is like how could he come so easily to back, right? That point, and then when you are showing someone face hidden, right? That was obvious that it's him.
none of us would have guessed that this guy is the villain. We'll think it's the father and the son or
Yeah.
whatever it is fighting together. So actually, it's a clever thing. So yeah. So thanks for making me look at this in a different way. But I still wish I'd had a better theater moment. But I see what you're saying as well. Prem Sai says, apart from VFX errors, did the movie work out in commercial aspects? Yes, for him. And I felt rather than the spark song, they could have shown scenes which makes their love stronger, so it could be emotional connect in the Srinidhi incident. I completely agree. In
Yeah.
fact, I have a theory that release all the songs, music videos as YouTube videos, because that's where they're going to end up finally after the movie's release.
Yeah.
Don't include any of the songs in the movies. Just have the clean movie right there, because people have already seen the songs. So
Yeah.
they'll remember that, and that will be extra information that they will feed into the movie while they're watching the movie. So the movie now doesn't have the pressure to incorporate songs at various places. Is
That's
this sounding crazy? But I don't know.
great idea. Yeah, great idea. That should I totally agree. And I think somehow they already do it that they put out the whole song already on on social media, whatever, YouTube. And then the film actually has like a cut down very short version of it. They quickly go through it. I've noticed in some, especially in Bollywood films, I noticed this. But yeah, I don't mind that at all. It's good because I don't think songs add any narrative value. It's just them dancing. I think, especially in Goat, so would have just released those songs before people would have seen them, and then just watch the film, and we don't have all these unnecessary distractions.
I sometimes feel that way, because you're having a song for the sake of having the song. For me, more than Spark, which is because the heroine was very like badly written, or maybe they wrote more and called it off. I did not like that family song at that place because it's a very big moment. The son coming back to the family is the very big moment at that
Yeah.
point, and to brush it away as just an emotion reaction from Sneha and all that. That should have been a gut wrenching scene. And if
Because the death scene was so gut when he goes to her in the hospital to tell him that they lost the son. Like that was such a gut wrench, that lot of emotions and all of that. I agree to that point.
that scene had been gut wrenching and not just brushed away in a song, then it's be like because a mother has been without a son for, I don't know, like 15 years or something like that, 20 years. The parents have separated because of this. So when you're bringing back the
Yeah.
son to kind of generally have it a cute thing, like one Vijay is here and the second Vijay is peeking out, so she knows that it's actually the son or something like that. It feels very light. That whole moment became light. Again, you can argue and say, why should this be heavy? We want to come here. We already know this is what's going to happen. Let's just have a light, easy, entertaining movie. And for those people, this probably works. But for me, it didn't work because that moment was a very crucial moment. And for me, I'm a little old fashioned that way because I want big moments to have the big treatment that they deserve and not just be brushed away in a song. But then, yeah.
But also one thing after watching the movie, I realized that after he kills the lover girl, you know, we cut to that he's with his father and that dance with Trisha happens and then he kills the guy there and then cut to the I think the climax begin there. Like we never see the funeral for the girl, we never see him coming there, how is he reacting, and then we just get to the climax and we find out the sister is actually watching a CSK match. Like, and she doesn't, it looks like she doesn't know his brother is evil by that time. Like no communication happened. Like why is she watching a match? Like all the officers, right, their family is in danger, why she's out just watching a match? Like, it feels so disconnected that Vijay and everything that's happening and with the evil Vijay and all is happening here, and the family stuff is happening here, and they actually have no clue, with what's going on. It makes no sense because they all are family together. So that after watching the film, I'm like, wait, that makes no sense.
And finally, we come to Surya Narayanan, who says, I'm
Oh, my question didn't make it.
trying to understand how a superstar movie should be consumed. Should people accept it no matter how worse it is just for a few mass scenes, Easter eggs, surprises, or should people still expect good writing and screenplay even from a superstar?
I think it's each like everyone, however you want to see it, right?
This is the $1 million question. How should you consume a superstar movie? I don't know, because when I'm saying things like screenplay, organic, not this thing, generic, all these things, one part of my brain is also saying, but why are you expecting all these things? You know that it's not going to be that, right? But another part of me is saying, when the Mission Impossible films and the James Bond movies are still working so hard on the screenplay and the fights and the all those stuff except the songs, why can't we do the same thing? Because after all, those movies are getting dubbed in Tamil and Hindi and Gujarati and Telugu or whatever it is, and all our local people are enjoying those movies. They become mega hits. So
That's true.
is it so wrong to assume that that sensibility of screenplay will be consumed here also? I don't know, but that's $1 million question. And with that,
You know, to answer that, what I feel watching a commercial film, right? My objective is always that, see, you're bringing a big hero or big production, money, everything together, right? The least you can do is make an average film, right? You have the hero, you have a normal story and high moments, and just if you do just the bare minimum, it should be a watchable film, average watchable film. Like there are films with everything, they still did not even make average, they'll make a bad film. That is, you cannot, that is unacceptable, you know. But if getting all that, you have everything, if you just do the bare minimum, you'll do it, if it will work. But still you are doing more, you're trying to push the boundary, you are doing something extra, you're doing something special, you want to, you know with all the resources you have, you actually want to create something new and different and try something, experiment, not as just make something totally different. Still being in the commercial space, mainstream hero movie with the massy moments, but you're trying to do something different, which this film does for me. That's where this film, I am kind of not totally like, oh, I didn't like it at all. It's an average film. They got the bare minimum. You have those moments for Vijay fans, and that's what they did. They wanted to do, and they did that. It's easy. You didn't have to do much, but it took it a step ahead with de-aging, with getting a villain, Vijay, evil Vijay. how to create a narrative between them. So they did try something, and for me that's thumbs up. But if the film is just that, I'm not a fan of that. That you're not even trying, and that's just average. Okay, you anything would have been done here, and you just did that, and nothing really changed. Nothing has, like, you didn't move any mountain, nothing. Like, not that everyone has to, but it's okay if they're happy with just doing the bare minimum. It's okay. That's a okay commercial film. But if they cannot even do that, horrible. What did you do? Like, even with everything you had, you couldn't pull off basicness, then that's horrible. But even if something little bit they tried, that's for me thumbs up. And if they do it, not just try, they nail it, which S. Rajamouli does, that's just the best for me. That's how I in my mind figure it out. But yeah.
I end this episode of Q&A. Thank you so much for watching, and keep watching Galata Plus. See you soon at the movies.
So that was a fun, Q&A session. A lot of my question didn't make it. I'll try to find out what was my question, and I'll maybe answer it myself. But this was fun. Always you get to, oh my God, I actually messaged someone. Yeah, someone special. I mean, okay. It's on camera. Excitement on my face. But yeah, I'll get to that. Get back to them. But coming back to the okay, my question. Okay, I think on Twitter I shared with him. But this was fun, when you break it down. And what I like, see, I'm a big fan. If you don't know, I'm a big fan of Bharadwaj Rangan. I've met him and I consider him like a mentor in a sense. Not like he's taught me, but when I first found out him and watched his video, I'm like, I totally understand. We vibe together. I match his way of thinking. Of course, there have been moments where he had a different view of a movie than mine. That has happened. But yes, here it is. That has happened, but it's still I really like his style and his viewpoint of how he reviews films, which I really admire, and I also like to do that. So my question was, do you think superstardom holds back the acting talent? If not for the technology, we would never get to see the all-out sinister side of Vijay. So basically, that we would have never got a evil Vijay as a villain in any other film where the hero is someone else. Not possible. That would have been too experimental. If you have a Vijay film, he's the main lead in the film, and the film is all about around him, but he's evil. That cannot happen because he's a hero. He has to be a hero, and he's also entering politics. So that's very, I think, abnormal thing. That's something like Mankata kind of thing. I don't think with Vijay you can pull it off. That's what I'm trying to say. So the only way you could get an evil Vijay is against himself, and that's where technology helped to get for us to get to see a evil Vijay. Like, he's so good. I really loved his performance as evil. Because maybe it's like it's a okay performance. It's fine, but maybe because we'll never get it. It's just one time thing. It's so unique that I just loved it. Maybe that's the case. But I love that because of technology, the stardom, how it limits an actor, the actor Vijay, how it limits it, what kind of roles he can do or not. That's what I liked in Master also, that he's playing a drunkard and all of that. Of course, it changes. He gets an arc. He becomes a good guy at the end. But at least here, it's not that he becomes a good guy. He becomes better or he's sorry for what he did. No, he's pure evil, and I'd loved to see that. But yeah, this was fun. I answered my own question. But let me know your thoughts, your thought about this. I know if you think just hate it, you can let me know. If you have more thoughts about it, if you're fascinated and analyze this more than just being good or bad, let me know your thought in the comments below. And you can check out this video next. Consider being a member for the support. I'll be really grateful, and I'll see you next time.